Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
So here we go. Nachon, it is a good idea, but we should realize that the nisayon in the winter, maybe it's not as blatant, maybe it's not as gadol, not as big as during the summer, but there certainly is, it's amazing how these fashion designers have made it so easy to be over on Pritzos even during the winter. Yeah?
Winter and summer.
Yeah, unfortunately, that this nisayon does not. It may be a little bit easier during the winter, but it's still there, and therefore we still have to take it. We still have to try our best and be focused, right? I just want to take a second to talk about being focused. There are two parts of being focused. We're going to talk about this a little bit. Okay, there's a purpose of being focused and a purpose of dafka not being focused. There are two ways. Okay, let me talk about what does it mean to be focused and what does it mean to be not focused. Focused means that I know that I have to be careful about it. That's what it means. It means that I'm thinking beforehand that I know I want to do the right thing. If a person doesn't have that in their mind, then it's very easy just to walk out in the street and, like you're spaziering, you're around and you get to see all the sight. Yeah. It means you're just walking around like having a good time. You should walk like a businessman. Walking like a businessman means I'm a very important man. I need to go to do exactly what I need to do. I don't have time for this shtuyot. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. Not like you're a tourist and all you spend all day is just staring up at the sky, right? That's no, I'm serious. But that's what it means to be focused. It means that I'm using my time is precious. My eyes are precious. My life is precious. And therefore, I'm going to be focused on doing the right thing. I'm going to be focused when I go outside in the street or even when I'm in my own house. Am I just wasting my time on the internet, on my phone, just to like scrolling and seeing things? Am I just doing things? Yeah, a person who's not focused. So wait a second, I shouldn't be doing these types of things. It's going to end up with big shmeris and iron problems. So if a person is not focused like that, very easily he can fall into it. Very, very easily. That's what it means that a person has to be focused. It means in general in your life. But there is a certain tool, which we mentioned in the past. I'm going to bring it up again now. And that is dafka hesech daas. It means that the way to beat the Yetzer Hara is just don't think about the Yetzer Hara. To be too busy with other things, right? Just be busy with other things. You don't have time to let the Yetzer Hara in. It's very interesting because the Yetzer Hara himself uses this. So you're actually using the Yetzer Hara's own sword against him. The Yetzer Hara's tool is that he doesn't want you to think about important things. The Yetzer Hara wants you to stay exactly the way you are. Don't think about changing. Just keep going the way you're going. The misiach brings this down that this was the Eitzah of Paro in Mitzrayim. Paro was very upset that when Moshe Rabbeinu came, and all of a sudden they want to go free. All of a sudden they want to go serve their God. You know what Paro said to himself? Do you know why this is happening? Do you know why it's happening that all of a sudden the Jews decided they want to go out into the desert and serve their God? They have too much free time. That's the problem. They're thinking too much. They're thinking too much. You know what I have to do? I got to make them work so hard that they won't think. If you're not going to rebel, you're not going to make a merida if you can't think. You don't have time to think, so then you don't have time to make a merida. So Paro said, I'm going to make them work like crazy. No more days off, no more hours off. You have every second you're awake, you're working. Yeah, exactly. The people who are the ones who have the protests are the people who have time. Right. Yeah. If you have to go to work, you're not protesting. I got to go to work. I don't have time to protest. I got to go to work. I got things to do. I don't have time for this stuff. But you could use that in a negative way, but you could also use it in a positive way. You can use it in a negative way, the way Paro used it, that he's saying, I don't want you to have time even to think about serving your God. I don't want you to have time even to think about what the right thing in life is. I don't want you to have any time. We can use it the right way also. We can say to the Yetzer Hara, sorry, I just don't have time for you. I don't have the time. I don't understand. How do people have so many hours to stare at TikTok on their phone? I don't have the time for that. I just don't. I'm too busy. How do you have the time to sit and watch movies for 6 hours a day? I don't understand. I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. That's the idea. Be too busy in a good way. Be too busy for the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara gets thoughts, and I don't have time for these thoughts, the Yetzer Hara. I don't have time to walk on the street and stare at everything, single thing. I got places to go. I'm a busy guy. I have things to do. So by saying, I can't think about you, Yetzer Hara, I can't think, I don't have time. I'm busy. And that's the truth of the matter is that's a great tool. You're using the Yetzer Hara's own sword, his own tool against him. Yetzer Hara says, oh, don't think about your avodas Hashem. You're too busy. So I'll say to Yetzer Hara, okay, I won't think about you. I'm too busy. I won't think about all the things that you're telling me to do. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. But you have to be busy. You have to be busy. You have to have things to do. One of the biggest problems in the Mishnah in Maseches Suba says this, that if a person is not busy, is mashamem, maybe lidei aveiro. If a person is bored, boredom is one of the worst things. If a person is bored, automatically Yetzer Hara gets in there. Yetzer Hara gets in there. Oh, I got some fun things for you to do. That's what the Yetzer Hara says. I got some things that I can that you can do. Just don't be bored. Do things. So what's the best thing to do? We discussed learning Torah, but for some people it's very hard to be learning that much. Torah. First of all, you should know every single person can learn Torah. Every single person, even the people who say that I can't learn Torah, they can. They can. You have to believe in yourself. Okay, but sometimes you can't jump. How much time? I learn about 20 minutes a day. So you should start learning 8 hours a day. No, come on. Right? Let's be realistic over here. Nobody's going to jump from doing 20 minutes of learning a day to learning 8 hours a day the next day. It's not. What? Okay. So what should a person do? A little bit at a time. You should believe in yourself. That's the key. Believe in yourself. You can do it. If you believe in yourself, then you will be able to do it. That's the key. There's a very interesting medrash. There's a medrash that I don't remember the exact details of the medrash, but there was this fisherman, and the fisherman was making fun of. He didn't realize, I don't think, that it was Eliyahu Hanavi. He was making fun of him. Eliyahu Hanavi said to him, "Why don't you go learn? Why don't you go learn?" So he said, "I don't know how to learn. I can't learn. Hashem didn't give me the tools to learn." So Eliyahu Hanavi asked him. He said, "What do you do?" He said, "I'm a dayag. I'm a fisherman." So he said, "Well, how do you know how to do? How do you fish?" "Oh, you have to make nets. You know how to make nets?" "Sure, I know how to make nets. So you make nets like this and like that." "How do you know where to get the fish?" "Of course, I know where to get the fish. You know how to go out there, how to search for them." So he said, "You seem to know very, very well how to be a fisherman. Why can't you use those exact same tools to learn Torah? The exact same things to learn Torah." And the truth of the matter is that I've seen this among certain people. When all of a sudden, when you start learning with them, they start spacing out. You open up a sefer all of a sudden now. But when you're talking to them about something that's like that interests them, yeah, something about whatever it is, their cars, yeah, and they start talking about something that interests them. All of a sudden, they know everything. They know everything about it, and they can talk to you for hours about it. Like, what happened? I thought, like, the second I started talking to you, you're spacing out. Like, what happened? So don't blame it on ADHD. Don't blame it on that. Because when it's something that interests you, all of a sudden you can focus. Well, the key is we have to get the Torah to interest you. That's what we have to do. But let's say we're not ready at that point where you're ready to be learning all day. You're not ready for that. So what am I supposed to do with all that free time that I have? I don't want to do aveiros. I don't want to, because I'm bored, I don't want to do aveiros. So what am I supposed to do? Person does have to find other things, that either a job or hobbies, things that they can do in order to keep themselves busy. And that includes maybe playing sports. Maybe playing sports would be a good thing to do. Basketball or working out, running, exercise, these types of things also. Right. Right. Of course not. Right. We have to be careful with Shmir Sanai, right? the person has to be careful, right? That's what that's what I said in the other share, that the bacher that I met with, walking is bad for my eyes, he said. Right? So yeah, okay, you have to know the right way. Look, I do a workout almost every day. I try to do workout almost every day. And you know where I do it? In my house. I do it in my own house. I don't go anywhere. I stay in my house and do it. Right? Why? Because I think it's a healthy thing to do, and my doctor recommended me doing some of these things. So there's no reason not to take care of the body that Hashem gave you. You don't have to take it to an extreme that it becomes an avodas. You don't have to do that, but there is an in between. The point is to keep busy, find things that interest you, be with friends, spend time with. The more you can be misiach, daas, from the Yetzer Hara, meaning I just don't have time to think about the Yetzer Hara. I'm just too busy to think about you. Yeah, it seems like, are you really beating the Yetzer Hara that way? Yes, you are. It seems like a cheating type of way of beating Yetzer Hara. Any type of way you can beat the Yetzer Hara, you're allowed. Mutter.
He could cheat.
Yeah, if you can, exactly. If he could cheat, you can cheat too. Any way you can beat it, if he can cheat, meaning he can do things that are connected, lo nachon, drachim lo nechonim. אם היצר הרע יכול לעשות את זה, גם אתה יכול לעשות את זה כנגדו. You could do it against him. Yeah, if the Yetzer Hara can use, combina, yeah, to do all kinds of things, trickim, yeah, to beat the Yetzer Hara. Let's use the tricks to beat the Yetzer Hara. Be misiach daas. I don't have time. I have no time to think about it. We have to realize also that it's very, very kedai. Where do we get into to know? Where do we get into this trouble? Do I always get into this trouble in the same place? Whenever I'm passing by a certain thing, is that where it always happens? So it could be different things. It could be the problem is when you're on the street. It could be the problem is when you're in your own home. That could be the problem. It could be the problem.
Comfortable spot.
Yeah, right. In my own bedroom, that's where the biggest nisayon is. Now, that's not the nisayon isn't when I'm on the street. When I'm on the street, I can focus. I can see from it. That's not a big deal. It's when I get home. Right? When I'm at home and in my own bed and I've got the internet and it's easy, that's where the biggest nisayon is. You have to be aware. Every person has to be aware. Where is my nisayon? And if you can identify where your nisayon is, now we can make a plan. If I know my nisayon is in the street, well, then maybe I should walk a different way. Or maybe I should do something about it. Or if my nisayon is at home, I have to do something about it there also. I can do something. I can do things about it. Sometimes I remember years ago. This is like a little bit of a funny one. I remember years ago when the yeshiva wasn't even in Karlbach. The yeshiva was before that in a different place in Pnei Shmuel. And there was a guy who was in my shiur who, for some reason, he had to go to the bathroom every single shiur, and he came back a half hour later. Every single day. I'm wondering, is he okay? Is something wrong every single day for a half hour? No, he had a phone in his pocket, and it's easy, right? So maybe that was his nisayon. His nisayon was dafka there. So don't go to the bathroom with your phone, right?
Right.
That's it is, right? Because why are you doing that? It's that. A person has to identify where is the place that bothers me. And I have to try, first of all, to avoid it. Or try to find trickim to find different ways in order to beat the Yetzer Hara. What am I supposed to do? You can make, for example, if a person has a problem, that the main nisayon is that I look at my phone when I'm in my own room, so you can make up that I'm not taking my phone into my room. I'm just not taking, my phone doesn't go into my room. My phone stays outside of my room. And if you need help, you can ask for help. Depending on who's in your house. I know somebody years ago, who had a nisayon. Back then there weren't phones. And they had a nisayon with television. Yeah, television you can't walk around in your pocket. It was like this big thing. You couldn't walk around with it in your pocket, right? But still, it's right there. So and what's he supposed to do? He lives there in the house. It's right there. So he had this idea. He asked one of his family members to help him and say, listen, I don't want to look at this stuff. I don't want to see it, but I know I have a Yetzer Hara for it. So if you ever see me watching, I want you to, I'm over the head, hit me over the head to stop me from doing it. You created a shmira. You create a shmira like that. So you can say, look, and I know my nisayon is if I take the phone into my bedroom with me, that's where my nisayon is. So I won't take it in. But who's going to stop me from doing it? Who's going to stop me? I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough to do it yet. So who's going to help me? So maybe ask somebody to help you. It might be a little bit embarrassing, but it will work. It will. And the truth of the matter is, it's a really big thing. It's a really, really big thing. Asking for help from somebody, even though it seems to be very embarrassing, but it shows tremendous gvura. It shows that this is so, yeah, for sure. You're building yourself up. Yeah, nobody wants to admit that I need help, and especially like this, they don't, they're embarrassed. So they'd rather continue doing the aveiros in order to not, it's kind of like backwards, but still embarrassing. I understand that. And which is why it's a big thing. It takes a lot of courage to do something like that and to say, no, it's much more important to me. I'm going to ask for help. Who's going to ask for help for? It could be a father, a mother, a brother, a sister. Make sure that I don't keep bringing it into my room. It stays over here. It doesn't come. Or sometimes what a person can do, maybe, is that you can have the phone automatic. Maybe, I don't know if they have this, but maybe you can have your phone automatically turned off. It can't be turned back on until the morning. You can do, yeah, there is something like that. So if you can do that, so then there you go. You set the timer.
Okay.
Right? It's off. So even if you bring it in, I can't turn it back on. I can't turn it back on during that time. And that's it. Yeah.
It's something like that. Like you only get calls and that's it.
Right. It's something like that. I can't use any apps. I can't do anything. Right. I can't do any. I can't browse. I can't do anything. This is an eitzah because I know this is where my nisayon is. A person has to first identify where is my nisayon. Right? This is a very, very big deal. It is. We have to appreciate it. We have to appreciate it. They seem like the little things, but they're not. They're very, very big things. This is a big nisayon in this world. Ad kedei kach, the people used to talk about, and they're not even talking about it anymore. It's not because it got better. It's not because it got better. It's because it got worse. There were even worse things to talk about. But this has just become part of life, and which is why it's not like it's a good. It's a chelik me'achayim. So what does that mean? That it's a good thing? No, it's not a good thing. We can still fight it. They've been talking about this stuff for years already now. Even not even from people, even the secular, even goyim, talking about the dangers of these things. And the truth of the matter is, they were talking even before smartphones. They were talking about movies and television already beforehand. They were talking about these things. And you see nowadays, the generation now is so much worse than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But it's because of what started already 20, 30 years ago. It's just been getting worse, but it's building off what was beforehand. So we need to really take the time. Hey, how can I do this? How can I fix this? And ask for help. This is very, very hard. It's a very, very hard thing to do. And a person needs to realize that any little bit that you do makes a huge difference. Every little bit is so chashuv by Hashem. So chashuv. Even if we ourselves don't acknowledge it, that's a mistake. להכיר את זה, להכיר את החשיבות של זה.
איך באמת אפשר להכיר בחשיבות? להגיד בן אדם עושה משהו. הוא צריך לדעת שבאמת כאילו שבאמת מעריכים את זה, לא יודע.
What should you do? How should you be accurate? I mean, a person is doing something, they know what they're doing. If I'm doing something good for myself, I don't have to tell everybody about it, especially sometimes if it's something very private. So I don't have to tell everybody about it. Maybe I even shouldn't tell people about it. But I should definitely be accurate for myself, for sure. Even very little things, it makes a big deal. And you just realize, like in sports, imagine for a second you play basketball, you're in the NBA, right? Or you're one coming, and so you're playing something, and you throw the ball, and it goes into that round thing they call a hoop, right? And boom, it goes in. Like, is that like a chashuv thing?
Yeah.
It is chashuv. What's it so chashuv? Is it going to bring me closer to Kadosh Baruch Hu? I don't know. Maybe. Is it? When the little thing they call a hockey puck, and you take a stick and you hit the hockey puck, and it goes into a net. Is that so chashuv? Yeah. Do you know how I know? Because all of a sudden, thousands and thousands of people start screaming. Right? When the ball goes into the hoop, all of a sudden 10,000 people, 20,000 people start screaming. Wow! Like, what did I do already over here? What's so good? What's so big? You know, when you do something like that, when you do something that's so big, you overcome your Yetzer Hara, even just a little bit. You don't know, in Shamayim, there are millions and millions of malachim going. Kol kavod.
ואיך אתה מרגיש את זה?
You have to think about it. You have to think about what you're doing.
להאמין, זה כאילו
Yeah.
שאתה מאמין, ואתה מאמין שזה טוב, ואתה מאמין
That's right.
אמונה זה לא...
Emunah, of course. Yeah, I mean, we're doing it because we know that this is MS. We know that the Torah is MS. And we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants our kiyum mitzvahs. We know that. We know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be close to us. Now we just kind of visualize it. Visualize it? Think for a second. I just did something big. So what can I do? Think for a second. I'm in the middle of a stadium, a big stadium, and I just did this. And instead of having monkeys going, yeah, monkeys, oh, but it's not that. It's not monkeys they're doing it. It's Malachi Asharis. Malachi Asharis, millions of them are going, wow, kol hakavod, yeah. For me? Why? Because I passed a girl on the street and I didn't look? Yeah. That's exactly the reason.
You
That's
don't have to
it.
treat yourself if you did or didn't do
Right.
something you're supposed to do or not. Whatever. Oh, I get something. I don't know. Like
That's
I
right.
like I do. I go to mikveh and I treat myself with ice
There you
cream.
go. You get an ice cream. Get an ice cream. Now, I know ice cream is not the same thing as millions of malachim cheering for you, but sometimes it's hard to hear the millions of malachim. So get the ice cream too. Get the ice cream also.
אבל איך אפשר באמת להאמין בזה? כאילו...
אתה מאמין בשכר ועונש, נכון? אתה מאמין, yeah? אתה מאמין בבחירה חופשיס, right? You have בחירה. It's echad ikre emuna. The ikre emuna, the most important, the Rambam has 13 Yud Gimel ikre emuna, right? One of them is the emuna in schar va'oinish. Schar va'oinish is only if you have bechira. If I have free choice and I'm choosing, right? Of course, we always have to be mechazik emuna. Always. The person should always be.
בחירה של בחירה חופשית, אבל זו בחירה שאתה יודע שאם אתה תעשה משהו כזה אתה תקבל עונש.
Right.
אם אתה תעשה משהו כזה אתה תקבל שכר.
Right.
ברור שאני לא ארצה להיכנס לכלא בגלל שזה לא יודע מה.
Right.
זה לא כל כך בחירה חופשית.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here it's even more bechira chafshis because you're not necessarily going to be put in the keller right now for doing an aveiros or doing a mitzvah, right? You're not, right? But are you going to go to Gehenim right this second if a person does it? The first times people were mechal Shabbos, chas v'shalom, rachman l'tzlan, people go off the derech. They go off the derech and they decide they're going to be mechal Shabbos, chas v'chalila. The first time they're mechal Shabbos b'mezid. You know what they're feeling? They're feeling the second I do it, boom! Barak min hashamayim, boom! Ani met. Right? That's what they're scared of. They're scared. And then they do it. Hey, how come I didn't die? Hey, they're so scared. But I want to go off the derech. You know what happens? A little bit at a time. They get used to it. They get used to it more. And they're not scared anymore. About it. A person can do it so much, he doesn't even remember that it's Shabbos. But it could work the opposite way too. That a person can start doing mitzvahs. And he can start thinking to himself, hey, this is something that's chashuv. And it becomes much more natural to think that it's chashuv. And I'm doing something chashuv. And you think about it more and more, and it will make a big difference.
אדם שלא עושה דברים רק בגלל שהוא מפחד לקבל את המכה.
נכון. זה מדרגה. It is a madrega. madrega namuch, aval ze madrega. Right? There are higher madregas than that. If I'm only not doing the aveira because I'm scared that Hashem is going to kill me, ze madrega. It is. Ze mashu. It's not the highest, but it's a madrega. If I'm scared to do an aveira because I'm scared that Hashem is going to punish me in olam hazeh, then if you're scared to do an aveira because you're scared of Gehenim in the next world, it's already because that means I believe in Gan Eden, Gehenim, and I believe in Olam Haba. That means I do have.
זה בגלל שהוא יודע שיכול להיות שיש גיהנום.
Okay.
על הצד שיש גיהנום, אז
Right.
עדיף לא לעשות.
Yeah, but you know what? There are a lot of people that are the opposite.
חזקה בזה.
No, it is.
בגיהנום.
It is. You know why? Because there are people that are not like that. The people do the exact opposite. They say, until I know 100% that there's a Gehenim, I'm going to do whatever I want. Oh, maybe there's a Gehenim. Maybe there's a Gehenim, but maybe there isn't. And I'm going to miss out on all those fun things because I'm scared that maybe there's a Gehenim. No. I'm going to go do all those. There are a lot of people like that out there in the world. Okay.
כמו אם אני אגיד לך, יכול להיות שיש פה אריה, 50% יש פה אריה מחוץ לדלת. אתה לא תצא, למה? אתה לא תגיד עד שאני לא יודע בטוח מה.
Yeah, but if I know on the other side of the door something could be a lot of money, and there's only 50% that there's a lion over there, but hey, no, the money's over there. That I know. The money's there. I want to get the 50% on the lion. And even if there is a lion, it's not for a while. It's not coming right away. I'm going to still get the money. So, yes, a lot of it is tipshut. It is, but it's because of people not thinking. The more... Yeah. Right. That's already something different. Somebody says, I'm going to go up the derech and then I'm going to come back on the derech. Right? I just want to do some aveiros and then I'll come back and then I'll do tshuva. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for a lot of reasons. Most people who do that don't come back on the derech. They don't. And they're going to feel so guilty by the time afterwards that they're going to have to pay for it. They say, a marshal, like this world is like fancy hotel. It's like a fancy hotel. You can come into the hotel, you can have whatever you want. But when you check out, you're going to pay. You're going to pay. Right? You have to realize we're in this world. It's a short term. We're not here for so long. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to us, this world, to take advantage of in order to really get to Olam Haba. We're just on our way. It's just part of the journey.
Right.
Yeah, we're right. That's it. We have to focus on really what's coming afterward. The big stuff that's coming afterward. But that's also a person has to be mechazik in his emunah. If a person really wants to be mechazik in their shmiyas einayim, they have to be mechazik in their emunah. They have to realize, wait, I'm getting something so much better in olam haba and in olam hazeh. Both. I have to be mechazik in my emunah for sure. Everybody, we need to be mechazik in our emunah. We know HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me Torah mitzvahs so that I would get an olam haba. We know that's true, and it's one of the ikarim of the emunah that every Jew has to have. I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to reward me for those mitzvahs. Maybe it's not the highest level. Maybe I should be more l'shem shamayim, but I need to be honest with myself. I need to know exactly where I'm holding, who I am, and work with that. Work with who I am. I can't pretend to be the biggest tzaddik in the world if I'm not there yet. Maybe one day I will be, but right now I'm not. So be who you are and be mechazik your emunah and understand you're getting so much greater. And you got all those malachim cheering you on, and they are. It's true. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean it's not true. We have to be mechak HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, and the greatest thing in the world is to bring nachas to ruach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the best thing a person can do. I'm here to serve Hashem, and every time I'm oimid b'nisayon, and I'm being mesamech at Hashem, then I'm doing the best possible thing in the world. So a person, the more a person is being mechazik himself in these things, the more he'll be able to overcome. And that's what we really should be doing all the time. Every Jew should be doing it. Should always be mechazik in our emunah. And the truth of the matter is, built in to every single day are things to be mechazik our emunah. If we'd pay attention to the words in our tefillah, just saying the words in the beginning of the day, Elokai nishama shnasata bito hoirahi. Atabarata. Atayetzarta. Atanefachta bi. You gave me such an amazing neshama. You gave me such an amazing neshama. We say that we thank Hashem for the Torah. Hashem, you gave it the Torah, right? Thank you for the Torah. Kodesh Baruch Hu. Asher bocher bonu mikol amim. Hashem, you chose us. I know it seems to be not very politically correct to say, but the Jewish people are the chosen people. Hashem wants us more than anybody else. He does. I'm sorry for all the people listening to this on the recording and don't believe it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants the Jewish people. He has a special kesher from the days of... We say it every day. Sometimes if you get an aliyah, especially if you're a Levi or a Kohen, maybe you get the aliyah more often than those of us who aren't going to Levim. You have to say, Asher bocher bonu mikol ha'amim. That's what we say, Asher bocher bonu mikol ha'amim. We say it every day. We are the people that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was bocher. Hashem since Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That's who we are. Be proud. I'm a Jew. That's the best possible thing in the world to be. It's the best. And we know we have a cash with HaKadosh Baruch Hu that nobody else has. We're mechazik in our amunah. It's easier also in these nisyanos too. Okay? Stop over here. Go yeah.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.